Ooh, we're going hot. Let's hope it works. With all the failings of Facebook Live lately, we'll see if it works. It looks like it is working. Let's double check it here, folks. All right, we're coming early. Coming at you early. 2 days early, baby. 2 days early. Let's make sure that this puppy works here, though. It looks like we're live. 15 seconds now. All right. That's good. That's good. And it looks like it's being shared out as well.
Yes.
That's excellent.
I see it.
I use LiveLeap to share it out, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. This time it worked perfectly. So, kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
So, in any case, we're glad to be here. We are a few days early. I can see people are jumping in. Say hi to us. Give us a little love in the old comment section there by saying hi. We are a couple days early because I'm going to be out of town. So we wanted to make sure that we got a show in since I was out of town the last couple of weeks and couldn't quite do a show. A very good show. So here we are.
Very good show.
Today we're going to talk about something near and dear to my heart, which is YouTube and Google My Business and how they can work together. And more, it's really video and Google My Business because there's some other things that aren't YouTube related that we'll get into as well. But two things that can really make a big difference in local marketing, and we all love local marketing. So should be a lot of fun today. And
yes,
Steve,
sir.
what have you been up to? It's been a couple weeks because I've been so busy and out of town.
Well, I've been up to about 6 foot. I'm 5'11" and 3/4.
That's good. That's good.
Never quite hit 6 foot.
Well, we can get you some special shoes that will take care of that for you.
Hey.
So I've discovered something, and I posted this on Facebook, and man, people are gullible. People are so gullible on Facebook. I posted that my life had been ruined because somebody had showed me this thing called Hell's Kitchen. And, of course, Hell's Kitchen's been around for 20 years, or at least 20 seasons. And, I've seen it before, kind of, but I never watched it. But, boy, I'll tell you, I am addicted to all that Chef Ramsay stuff. And I love his brutal honesty at times, which is pretty amazing. But I've noticed something that when watching this show, and by the way, our episode hasn't started yet. We're just doing some chatter here before we get started here. I've noticed that when you watch all that stuff with Gordon Ramsay, that you tend to start evaluating everything around you kind of like he does.
Oh.
So, and I see things and I'm just like, looking at it and pointing, this is terrible, this is wrong, this is bad. You go out to eat after watching those shows, this is overcooked, this is, it's crazy, but you really do.
And yell?
Oh, yeah, he still yells. He still yells and swears, and everything's beeped every 2 seconds on his shows. But the funny thing about it is I've started working, for those of you who don't know, I'm starting to put my vast fortune to work in real estate investing. So I'm investing in a lot of real estate properties and things like that. Boy, I'll tell you, I have noticed that the real estate industry, and if you're a realtor, feel free to defend realtors because, man, oh man, what an industry that is. In the last couple of days, last 2 days, I have called with cash, with cash in hand to purchase properties. I've called 20 realtors that have properties that fit exactly what we're looking for, that we will give them cash right now to buy the house that they represent. Steve, out of the 20 people that I've called, how many do you think have called me back?
None.
First of all, how many do you think answered their phones?
None.
That would be correct. How many do you think have called me back?
None.
No, actually 2 have. 2 out of 20 actually have taken the time to call me back in the last 48 hours after calling them to let them know that I'm interested in a property, I have cash, and I want to buy it. No response. None.
That's weird.
Apparently it's not weird at all. Apparently it's sad and very normal. And not only that, but I literally had a guy today. He wouldn't call me back, but he sent me a text, and he says, well, first of all, this property is a falling apart piece of garbage. But I was taking a flyer on it just to take a look at it. Falling apart. I mean, it's a disaster. At least it seems that way. It's very cheap. Looks like it's falling apart from the outside. No pictures of the inside at all. And I call him and I say, hey, I'd be interested in at least learning more about this one and whatnot. And he texts me back And he just goes, this property is so hot right now that we're not showing it to anybody until it's under contract. So in other words, you're supposed to make an offer, have the offer accepted for that property, and then they will show it to you.
Yeah.
And there's no pictures.
Yeah.
Now, this guy's delusional. And the reason Chef Ramsay ties into this is because I wrote back to him in the way that Chef Ramsay would talk to some delusional chef in one of the restaurants that he tries to help out. And it ended with me saying, I will pray for the people that bothered to hire you as their agent, was how I ended the text message. So I'm really, I think his shows are affecting me. But, it was, honestly, if I had an agent like that first of all, the thing's been online for months. It's a hot property, yet it's been on there for 4 times longer than most properties stay on in this area. Properties in this area sell very quickly. And this thing's been on for months with nobody buying it. And he's telling me it's such a hot property that he won't let anybody see it. I'm like, you've got to be out of your mind. Anyway, all right, I just wanted to bring that up. So that's what's been going on here. And we probably scared away anybody who was wanting to watch this because we're 6 minutes into talking without even
there's Chef Ramsay. He's watching. I see.
That's good. Chef Ramsay should be watching this show. He can learn a little bit more about broadcasting and how to do it. So, because the 15 shows that he has going on have not trained him on how to use media yet. So, all right, today we're going to talk about YouTube and Google My Business. So, Steve, are you ready? Are you prepared?
I am indeed ready, prepared. Yeah.
All right, then let's do this in 5, 4, 3, 2. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to discuss how YouTube and videos can be used with Google My Business. And today's episode is made possible by Thumbnail Blaster, one of my favorite softwares, one of the best softwares of all of 2019. And we're more than halfway through the year, and I'm saying it is my best software so far this year. Love, love, love this tool for making amazing thumbnails very, very quickly. If you've got no design skills, they've got templates in there. If you have no tech skills, you just hook up your YouTube channel and you just go. It brings in your videos. You add the thumbnail using the templates. Just type in a little bit of text, change what it says, and boom, you're off to the races. You hit publish, and it automatically publishes your thumbnail to YouTube. You don't even have to go into YouTube and upload the graphic if you don't want to. Now, I'll be honest, most of the time I do, because I actually create them beforehand, put them on my hard drive, and then upload them normally when I upload the video. But for older videos that are already on there, boom, you just do it and publish it right from there. You can split test. You can do all sorts of great things with Thumbnail Blaster. If you don't have the tech skills, if you don't have the design skills, you want to make thumbnails that are going to get people to watch your videos, then head on over to raythevideoguy.com/thumbnailblaster. Pick it up today. Guaranteed to make you very happy. And we've even got bonuses, so check that out. raythevideoguy.com/thumbnailblaster. And with that, let's hit the funky music. Ooh, I hit the wrong button.
Where is it?
I hit the wrong button.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so...
Whoops! Oh no! Look what I did. I hit the wrong button, Steve. I hit the wrong button. Oh man! Can you edit this back together?
And if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
And it's the radio show about Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. Oh, you didn't put the Go VMM logo up on above me here.
Oh my goodness, what am I thinking?
Oh well, I finally got the logo done.
We got the old one. We got the Earn.show.
Yeah, they got the old one. You'll get that someday. But anyhow, govmm.com is our homepage, and it's got ways to subscribe to all the podcatchers, including Apple Podcasts, and a way to get social with us, including Facebook and YouTube.
Get social with us.
Get social with us.
Do it.
So, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Indeed it is. And of course, you can check out all of our videos on YouTube as well. All those great places. Facebook. We do it all, man. We do it all. We are everywhere. And the millions and millions of fans let us know each week that they love the way that we do that. So
we get mail, lots of mail.
We get lots of mail. It has nothing to do with the show, but we get lots of mail. It's usually bills, but we get mail.
Mostly junk mail.
So junk mail, bills, things like that.
Yeah.
The local flyer. But
advertising mail.
Speaking of the local flyer, how would you like to fly into using video for your Google My Business? How's that for a transition, folks? That is Broadcasting 101 right there. All right, so why are we talking about this today? We are talking about Google My Business because, quite honestly, regardless of what people that do SEO say, well, SEO is kind of a part of this, but regardless of what people that make videos say like me or that do social media marketing and all these other things, for me, the biggest thing you can do that can really affect a business almost overnight is to make sure that they show up well in the Google Maps. Sorry, folks that do everything else, but that is the biggest bang for their buck. If anybody wants to argue that, they certainly can, but I truly believe that that is the number one most cost-effective thing that any business can do is to get into that 3-pack. And the beauty is, most businesses are not doing that, so it's easy for you to jump in and do that. Now, if you go into a really hot market where people have big advertising budgets, yes, of course they're doing it there, but when you go into a small town, like here in Snellville, lovely Snellville, most industries, the people are not working very hard to get into that Google My Business and into that 3-pack. So it's actually pretty easy to get businesses to dominate there and take over. And that can be a big deal for any business because, believe it or not, 80% of those clicks and calls and things are going to come to those guys that are in that 3-pack. Everybody else, you'll be lucky if you get anything out of that. So you really need to work hard to be there and get the phone calls. So how do we do that? Well, Google My Business has a lot of different things. In fact, Steve, you probably work more with Google My Business directly than even I do. Because I usually, we've got guys that do that stuff, but I don't get into it myself hands-on as much as you do. So what do you think about Google My Business as far as getting things set up? What's important here?
Well, certainly to set up your business information, the name of the company, the address, city, state, zip, phone number. Create citations off of that, and the easiest way to do that is to open up all the other directories like Yellow Pages, Super Pages, Yelp, MapQuest, with the same information as it appears in Google My Business. Do regular posts, question and answers is good for the brand. But what really helps also, just focusing on the directory listing itself, not any of the ancillary things, is to take a number of photos of the business, interior, exterior, them out working in the field, geocode them and upload them, and then use them in posts as well. And then the other thing, videos, and geocode those and upload them. And I've got an attorney in Jackson. I had to do quite a bit more work to get him into the 3-pack, but I have an accountant here in Omaha who moved into a real good part of town for doing taxes for people. And just doing what I talked about, I got her on page 1 in all of Omaha for income tax preparation, and I got her on page 1 for a 10-mile radius around her office for tax preparation services. Just doing that alone. And so what that tells you is there are areas that are not as competitive, that were you just by doing the stuff you're supposed to do with the listing, you can really move them up.
Yep, and another thing that wasn't mentioned there is the 360 videos / images that you can put up there. That's a big thing. They actually have a category just for that to put in those 360 videos. So if you can get one of those 360 cameras and start getting some content, that can be a big help. You get those images up there, you get those videos up there. And, a lot of people don't realize because the video in Google My Business is probably about, maybe a year old. They've been doing that. Before that, you didn't do it. And oddly, the really weird thing is, considering it's Google Maps, and they've got YouTube, they don't work together. you actually have to upload a video directly into the Google My Business. So when you go into Google My Business, you're going to upload your videos. So make sure that you've got, some nice videos that you can put up there. It can be the same ones that you put on your YouTube channel. Just put them in there, make posts with them. However, word of advice, if you create a listing and you happen to have, say 400 videos, do not upload all 400 to your Google My Business listing at once.
I remember
Second of all, don't do it at all. Steve's laughing because he knows the story here. So back a little while ago when I got this office here, which is in Snellville, Georgia, I, of course, decided to make a Google My Business listing. And, of course, I've got all my animated logos, and I've got stock sample videos, and I've got instant spokesperson sample videos of me training and doing different things. And so being the smart guy that I am, after uploading all of my pictures to that Google My Business, and so each of the sections had different pictures and lots of different pictures in there, I thought, hey, it would be really good to put a lot of these videos, and probably the more content that I have, the better. So I uploaded 400 videos into the Google My Business system. Well, come to find out, when I broke the entire Google My Business system, which, by the way, they still haven't figured out how to fix. My listing works, it's there and everything. They still haven't figured out how to fix the screw-up that I did by putting all those videos in there. You're supposed to only have, I think it's like 150 total pieces of content. Now, that 150 is supposed to be between videos, images, and posts. Those three things together are supposed to add up to about, I think it was 150, and I had uploaded, at least 100 photos already. I had started doing posts, and I uploaded 400 videos and locked the whole system down. And I can't add any more content. I can't do posts. So don't do that is the bottom line with that. Now, I rank well with it, and it does good. It still does okay, and people call me from it, even though I'm not really doing much directly local stuff here in town. I still do get phone calls, mostly from people who are looking to do like, I want to transfer my VHS wedding to DVDs or whatever. And, I'm like, no, thanks.
Yeah.
But, it does work. Just be very careful. Upload content slowly. Don't clog up their system with 400 videos. It's not going to work out well for you. But you do want to optimize that Google My Business listing. You do want to use video in there. And I know this is the Video Marketing Madness podcast. This isn't the Google My Business Madness podcast. But we understand the power of this. We understand how videos flow into this. So you want to be able to put videos into your Google My Business. However, once you do that, there are some other things that you need to think about that have to do directly with videos that you're going to be uploading to places like YouTube. So what do I mean by that? Well, Steve kind of touched on it. When you're doing Google My Business, you want to make sure that you create what he called citations. Now, a citation is essentially a name, address, and phone number when it's put onto other places on the internet that Google can then see. And it's kind of like almost like having a backlink, where a backlink tells Google, hey, this is important. Well, seeing that name, address, and phone number tells Google, okay, he's got a Google My Business listing with this name, address, and phone number. I found it on 30 other places. That's essentially 30 votes saying that this is a legitimate business. So the more legitimate votes that you have saying that this is a legitimate business, the better you're going to do. So not only do you need to get reviews, make sure everything's set up properly, but you want to have these citations. And so getting that name, address, and phone number into Facebook and Yellow Pages and Yellow Book and Dex and Super Pages and every other place that you can think of, getting it out there is going to be a big help. Well, one other place that can be a big help is, of course, YouTube. Now, why is that? Well, think about this. Imagine that you're a local plumber and you've got your Google My Business listing. You got that name, address, and phone number, and you have 100 videos that you've uploaded to YouTube. Okay? So that's 100 high authority pages out there about your business. You go in there and you make sure that that name, address, and phone number, exactly as it is in Google My Business, is in each one of those videos, and you've just instantly created 100 high authority name, address, phone number citations back to that Google My Business listing, and it can make a big difference. Okay, so what do we want to do with that? Well, here's what I like to do with that. When I upload a video for a business, we make sure, of course, that it's fully optimized. We know what our keyword is going to be. We've got our branding. We've got our contact information. So we make sure that we start off with that keyword. So if it's, Boston Plumber, we know that Boston Plumber is going to be in the top there. Okay. Then we have the information. Hey, you got sprung a leak. Call John at Steve's Plumbing and at 1234567 and visit at www.johnsplumbing.com and then put information. And then what do we put? Well, we put the name, address, and phone number of the business. And now we do this exactly as it's listed in Google My Business. So if Google My Business says that you are 123 4th Street and they spell 4th 4th, then you make sure that it says 4th. You don't put F-O-U-R-T-H. And if it says F-O-U-R-T-H, that's what you would put. And if it says ST period, you put ST period. If it says street, S-T-R-E-E-T, you put street. Whatever they say you are, put it exactly as it is. Now, will a citation work if it's ST period versus street? It may, and it likely will, but don't take the chance. Go to Google My Business, grab the name, address, and phone number exactly as it's written, put it into that into that YouTube description, okay? Once you put that link to that description, or once you put that description in there, go back to Google My Business, open up their actual listing, and grab the URL to that listing. Now, it's going to be 8 miles long, okay? Take that 8 mile long link and put it into that description below that name, address, phone number. And the reason for that is that creates a link back to that Google My Business listing, which can also help to rank it up there. So now you've not only got a citation, but you've got a link back. Multiply that times 100 videos, and you got a lot going on there. Now, one other thing that you can do with your videos on top of that is go back to the Google My Business, look up some of those 5-star reviews, hit that share button, grab the link, and in your actual YouTube video in the description, see some of our 5-star reviews and paste 3 or 4 or 5 of them in there. And now you've got internal links to the Google My Business page. So you've got 5 links going to 5 different 5-star reviews. You've got a link going back to the Google My Business page, and you've got a citation. Multiply those times 100, and you've just built a vast network of links that go back to this particular page. And Steve, you had your pen in the air. What do you got to say about that?
Well, and I was going to interject where you were at that point. At one time, just backtracking a little bit, Google wanted the address elements to look exactly the address elements for citations, the other directories besides Google, the YouTube videos, to look exactly like it did in Google. They give you a little leeway now.
They do, yep.
But nobody knows how much leeway they give you. I mean, they've never come out and said, they just said, we give you a little leeway now. So, I was really backing up what you were saying is grab the listing. When you're building citations, just copy and paste it right from the Google listing.
Absolutely.
That's the best way.
And I did notice, even some of the tools that we use to look up those citations, and it'll pull up Yellow Pages and all these other ones, and it'll tell us whether it matches or not. And I have noticed that a lot of them do match now, even if they're slightly different. So just be careful with that. Now, one other thing to note is many people that you're going to work with, if you're working with local businesses, they might have a YouTube phone number. So that is a phone number that they want people to call so that they know, hey, this call came from somebody watching the YouTube video or from a YouTube advertisement. So in that particular case, what we typically do is at the top, in that top of that description, that's where that tracking number or YouTube number goes. But when you get down into that and you start to show each location, that's where you'll use the actual phone number that Google has. And if they've got multiple locations, then you can put in the multiple locations. We've got one lawyer who has, I think it's like 8 locations. So there's literally in every single video, there are 8 name, address, phone numbers, and links back to those individual Google My Business and links back to 5-star reviews on every single one of their videos. It cuts way back on the amount of content you can put in that description because you got so much text being taken up with that, but it's well worth it to get those citations, and you just make sure that your rest of your description's a little shorter so that you fit within that 5,000. However, quite honestly, it's difficult to get to that 5,000 most times anyway. But that's what you want to do. Make sure that all of their locations are in that YouTube video or in all of your YouTube videos. Now, another thing to note is inside of YouTube, you got some other places that you can utilize as well. The About section of your channel, that gives you an opportunity to give yourself some information about the business. Name, address, phone number in there as well. So, you know, John's Plumbing is a great plumbing service in Boston. He fixes all sorts of leaks, blah, 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 blah. You know, and then John's Plumbing Service, name, address, phone number. Boom. There you go. And now you've got another potential citation on an even hotter, because believe it or not, your YouTube channel page is a higher authority site most times than a lot of the videos are. And so that can be very important. Now, another place you can do this, create playlists. When you create playlists in YouTube, so for instance, in John's Plumbing, we might have a playlist of all of John's TV commercials he's made. And we might have a playlist of all of the tips that he does. And then one's all about leaky sinks. And then one's all about, heating, like hot air heating, things like that. So whatever those playlists are, you're going to put them as sections on your channel page. Well, inside the playlist area, you can put a full description. And guess what goes in there? Name, address, phone number, along with links to the website, along with, anything else that you want. Anything. In fact, what I typically do is in this case, with this John's Plumbing that we've made up, I think it was Steve's Plumbing when we started, but now it's John's Plumbing, whatever. I set up defaults, and in those defaults, it's going to have, we don't know what this video is going to be about next month that we shoot or whatever, but we know it's going to have information about that company. It's going to have the name, address, phone number. It's going to have those links. It's going to have social media. It's going to have, some sort of ending to it. So that's going to be set up as a default in there so that when we upload a video and that video is about how to fix a clogged drain, well, then the top of that will have how to fix a clogged drain, and then it's going to have all that information. So we put it in the defaults area of YouTube, so that always goes in there. Well, you can put that into your playlist. Just copy that default in the playlist. If the playlist is about John's TV commercials, talk a little bit about John's TV commercials, and then put that default information that's going to have the name, address, phone number, and those links in it. And now you've got playlists that also provide those backlinks as well as those citations back to the Google My Business. And boom, you've got a ton of content. You got 100 videos, you've got 10 playlists, you got a channel page, and so now you've got those name, addresses, and phone numbers on all of that content. And you're up to 111 places that are pointing back with all those links that are in this. You've got hundreds and hundreds of links and citations that are going back to these locations. So that's what I would highly recommend that you do there. Now, there's one other thing that we need to understand about Google My Business, and this doesn't necessarily have to do with YouTube itself, but with video in general, and that is, or with the Google My Business in general, and that is your actual website that's attached to Google My Business has a major effect on how well your GMB page ranks. If you have a terrible page, you're going to have a tough time ranking the Google My Business because you connect your page to the Google My Business listing, and it looks at that page to see if it has the content and the authority to make them want to provide that business with a better ranking. And what do you say about that, Steve?
That's absolutely true. I saw it happen almost in real time. Again, my client in Jackson, Mississippi, when we decided to test a system that I used to see if I could get them on page 1 in the 3-pack for Jackson, Mississippi, which, by the way, I did. Took about 8 months. But at the same time, he had a website company shine up his website, basically putting in Yoast SEO, just doing all the things you're supposed to do with WordPress and shining it up. That's
speed it up, shine it up.
Yeah. Just put a shine on. Yeah, exactly. And it was already content rich. So what I found is that if I had his regular website associated with the GMB, it was in page 1. If I put the free Google website, which had a ton of posts, a ton of pictures, a ton of content, if I put that in there, it dropped. I mean, it fell out of page 1. You really had to scroll down, to more places and really scroll down. If I put the website back in, it jumped right up immediately. I mean, immediately. I mean, you couldn't see it going doon, 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 doon. You would just go back to it, and there it was on page 1 again.
Yep.
So that was amazing to me. So yeah, the a well-built website, and I'm big on WordPress because you can get the plugins that Google likes. You know, you don't have to try to figure it out by writing code. But if it's built correctly, that helps a ton.
Yep. And now, one other thing that you can do that's going to take that to an entirely new level has to once again do with video, because if you put your videos onto YouTube, you optimize them like we talked about, you do those citations. Well, now you take that optimized video and you embed it into that website. That website is going to rank better. It's going to have more SEO. And in turn, that's going to help the Google My Business to go higher as well. And on top of that, by embedding that video into the website, the video itself will rank higher because it's embedded into places that are doing well. So it all kind of, it's that rising tide helps all boats there. If you properly optimize that video for search, then put that optimized video onto the page, as well as uploading the same video to the Google My Business, all of those things are going to improve that website. Now, that doesn't mean just put any video on your page. Putting any video on your page could help a little bit, because Google likes to see videos embedded on pages. But when that video is optimized for the same thing that page on that website is optimized for, it can make a big difference. And we've seen that a few times, and that'll also make a big difference to the Google My Business page as well. So here's what we like to do in order to make that happen. So if we go back to John's Plumbing, and we've got our 100 videos on YouTube, and we've got, let's say on John's Plumbing site, he's got a page for, it's johnsplumbing.com/clogged drain. Well, we have a clogged drain video on YouTube. So what we want to do is we want to put that clogged drain video on the clogged drain page. Makes sense, right? And because it's optimized not only for local search, but for clogged drains, it makes perfect sense. And on YouTube, I'm going to put a link back to that clogged drain page inside the YouTube video. So I'm not just going to put it to John's website. I'm going to put it to that specific page in John's website. And then you want to go ahead and try to do that to as many pages as you can on the site. So if he's got one on, fixing an outdoor faucet, if he's got one on replacing faucet handles, if he's got one on how to deal with a flood in your basement, then you want to make sure that you optimize that video for that search term, put that video onto the page, and make sure that video points to that page so that all of these things work together. Upload some of those onto Google My Business as well, and you've got a really good synergistic thing going on here that kind of just works off itself. It's like this perpetual motion machine at this point that just keeps working off of itself. And you just keep doing that with all of the different pages. And once you do that, you're going to see a big difference in the SEO of that site. You're also likely going to see an improvement on the Google My Business, and those videos are going to rank better as well. So all of that working together, can make a big difference. What do you think of that, Steve?
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. And, another thing that I do is I build a series of Google sites and with the keyword and then the name of the town. So Jackson, Mississippi is going to be the main town. That's the name of the MSA, the Metro Survey Area is Jackson, Mississippi. But then I have keyword and all the other suburbs. I have a page for each suburb. So Ridgeland, Mississippi, Flowood, Mississippi, Madison, Mississippi, you name it, I've got it. And I've got content for each page. I've embedded a photo for a geo-optimized photo from the GMB. And then I have a specific unique is the better word, unique YouTube video built for just that town. So one for Jackson, one for Ridgeland, one for Flowood. And guess what? He's ranked in all those suburbs. He's number one.
And that's without having an office in each one of those too.
Without having an office in those suburbs, yeah.
And that can happen. If you put content, and that's one of the things that a good friend of mine, he put out a product that was specific to that a little while back, where you might be in, like you said, you might be in Jackson, Mississippi, but you want to be on the maps in some of these other surrounding suburbs and whatnot. And by putting content about those locations on his page, he started to see that those businesses ended up in the maps in those areas. And so that can work really well. And by the way, you don't need to go out and make a bunch of videos. If you've got a video about clogged drains, you can just make 10 versions of that video. You have to make it different in some way. That could be something as simple as changing the music, or maybe if the text says Jackson on it, you could change it to the different town, and now you got a completely unique video. Make an end screen that's longer or shorter. Just code the video with a different setting. That's all going to make these things unique content. You can then upload it to the YouTube channel and have that basically the same video 10 times, targeting each of those cities for that particular subject. And so if you've got a video on clogged drains, and you've got a video on fixing toilets, and you got a video on outdoor plumbing fixtures, well, now you're working with 10 cities around, or 10 areas around that city. You now multiply each of those by 10. You've now got 30 more pieces of content that you can put in there that, again, is going to point back to it's going to have that citation. It's going to be embedded on the website. The website's going to have the link. All of that's going to keep building and building and building and building and building, and you can have a monster very, very quickly.
Here's something else that works well, too, on those pages. Have driving directions not only to the town, but a lot of cases, those suburbs, you're just going to have 5 restaurants, driving directions to 5 restaurants. Put those in your YouTube video as well. And
that's something that I left out that should have been mentioned. Is we do that
driving
often
directions,
too.
Yeah,
and we do from.
Important.
In fact, our good friend John used to have a page that would do that for you, and unfortunately, people used it, and it cost him so much on his server, he had to take it down because it was getting used so much. But you would put in a location, and it would make directions from the north, south, east, west, northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, and so you'd have these 8 different sets of direction links that you could put into your YouTube videos or your other content that would drive links back there. So driving directions can help as well.
You can still build those. You have to do it manually in Google. Right. There is software that will do it for you using the Google API, but that API goes away October 1.
Yes, that does go away. And our good friend John, the site that does that, he actually does have one still, but he put it inside for members only, so you can't just go to it anymore, sadly. But yes, you can manually create those directions and paste them in there. Absolutely. It's just this made it a little bit easier to just, boom, automatically grab them all. So.
Now, a mastermind group I'm in for this thing I do with Google My Business, one guy is testing, and he ran me through all the parameters, and I got to go back and reread it. It's one of those things you can't skim. You have to spend some time with it. But what he's going to do is test seeing if YouTube videos, which index immediately, will index other things that aren't indexing, because hopefully that made sense. So I put up a Google site with all the pages, and I'm trying to index it. You can't force the indexing anymore. You used to be able to use the Google API to force the indexing. That's gone away. You can use the inspection tool to do that with a Google site, but they may not index all the pages, and so you want to kind of force it. So he's going to look and see if putting those in different YouTube videos are going to index it. He's testing it. It'd be interesting to see how that.
Well, it makes sense because they index so quickly. Any link that's in there is going to get spidered potentially, and so they would index it. That's a smart move. I think it was a smart move anyway. Makes a lot of sense.
Intuitively, I think it does, but I don't know. But
it remains to be seen.
I'll let you know what the test results on that are. It'd be kind of cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
Yes.
Okay.
As Ed McMahon would say, yes.
So, all right. Well, there you go. That is our little special report on Google My Business and YouTube videos and how they work together to make sure that your Google My Business ranks by working on your YouTube videos and your website. So,
yeah.
What do you think of all this? If you've got any ideas that we didn't mention, or if you know something that we don't know, or you think we're crazy, be sure to put it in the comments down below.
Yeah,
or in the comments
section
on YouTube. Or write to us. Send us in mail, hate mail, email bombs, whatever. Send us something and let us know what you think of that. If that's something that you're an expert in and you want to throw in, hey, you guys are idiots because of this, well, let us know. We would love to hear that. But
We're
I
so
think most of the
lonely.
people will agree. Yeah, we're lonely. We need help. We need
We're
help.
so lonely. Help us.
So sad. So sad. So, all right. Well, with that, another episode of Video Marketing Madness in the can, 2 days early after missing 2 weeks.
Yeah. See how conscientious Ray is?
I know. I'm so conscientious that I missed 2 and come in early for the third one. So
That's right. And you don't have any air conditioning.
I don't. For those of you who don't know, you can't tell. For some reason, I'm not glistening very much. But yeah, it's 94 degrees out, and in here it's about 105. And of course, I'm under the lights. Fortunately, they're LED lights, so they're not giving off much heat. But it is very hot in here. And hopefully, I'm leaving town tomorrow, so hopefully when I get back, they'll have figured out what the deal is with that and get it all worked out for me. But it is hot. That's why I came in. I came in specifically just for this. Unfortunately, I have some other things I have to stay and do because I have to do them in here before I leave because I can't do them from home. But hey, that's all right. That's what I do. I do that for you, the listeners. I do all that. So
Yes. So buy something from them.
and I don't even have a fan in here. That's the sad part. It's like nothing.
Man, I got a fan on me.
Hey, it's all right. You know what? The scale appreciates it when I get home.
Well, yeah. There you go.
So
Okay,
with
buddy.
that, keep yourselves hydrated until the next show next week when we come back with another episode of Video Marketing Madness. Same bat time, same bat channel, same bat heat. Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. You should call the leasing agent and yell at him.
I probably should use my Chef Ramsay voice.
Yes. I'll pray for you.
Hey, you! Hey, Muppet! Get that AC working! All right, so today's episode made possible by our good friends at Thumbnail Blaster. If you haven't checked this out yet, what in the world are you waiting for? YouTube themselves have said that thumbnails and the title are the 2 most important things to them when it comes to recommending videos to people on YouTube. So you need to have a good thumbnail. Thumbnails have proven that when people do searches, if you've got a good thumbnail, people will click on your video over other videos. So what are you waiting for? Quit with those terrible, tacky, ugly thumbnails that you've created before. Start using a software that has beautiful templates, is very simple to use, and automatically puts the thumbnail on your video without ever going to YouTube again. Check it out at raythevideoguy.com/thumbnailblaster. I guarantee you will be super happy with this. We have hundreds of people that have bought this program through us. Not one person has complained to me yet because it is an awesome tool. Join those 200 people that love this program, including me, including Steve, and get Thumbnail Blaster. raythevideoguy.com/thumbnailblaster. And with that, let's hit the correct button and hear that funky music one more time. Woo!
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.